Welcome to GPL Capital Talks on Tuesday, a weekly podcast, bringing to you an interesting talk related to finance every week. Stay tuned. Subscribe now and press the bell icon to GEPL Capital's YouTube channel and never miss out on any stock market update and build your knowledge on investment. Hi everyone and welcome to our Talks on Tuesday weekly podcast. This is our episode number 50, and today we have with us yet again Head of Research and award-winning technical analyst, our VP Equity, Mr. Pushkaraj Kanitkar. Mr. Pushkaraj Kanitkar will be telling us all about theme-based investing. And before that, let me remind you to hit the bell icon and subscribe to GPL Capital on YouTube. Hi Pushkaraj.
Hi Lakshmi, thank you very much for this and good to be back on your podcast. Well, theme-based investing is the topic that we are talking, and it's most talked about topic in the market these days. Well, putting it shortly, themes are nothing but ideas or types of stocks that we generally club together, which have a similar characteristic, and then we put in a theme or a concept to invest. If I put it in a different perspective, the thematic investment strategy identifies the broader macro level trends, and then the businesses and sectors that would in a way stand to benefit from materialization of these trends is what we are kind of looking into. Just to give an example, in the current pandemic and a bit afterwards, healthcare and its products like you can say insurance, the fitness industry, dietary products, and along with that, the core instruments, that is pharmaceuticals and hospitals, will do well. So that would in a way be called as a thematic investment strategy.
You make it sound so simple. Please, can you tell our listeners what should they do?
Now, if we look at, let's say, what things are looking out today, and I'm going to share three themes which I personally like, and also we have done a bit of research on it, and we think they will do well for the future. And we will try to give some examples to make it kind of simple for everybody to understand. So, first and foremost, the first theme that we put across is healthcare and allied industry. As mentioned in my opening remark, the current pandemic has opened really the gates to the old idiom. Like we used to say it quite frequently in our school days, health is wealth, and certainly this is what people are looking to in the current scenario. People have shifted to preventive healthcare rather than kind of popping medicines after they are being affected. As you can see, just to give example, I saw a lot of new bicycles being bought into in the society that I live in, and this will certainly prove to be a big boost for industries like gymnasiums, aqua and yoga, healthcare, and all those. Of course, not to forget, more people are also kind of visiting the labs for preventive health checkups. And in addition to that, we have also seen a lot of supplements being given through by the doctors. I personally went in for some vitamin boosters, immunity boosters, etc. So it is more of a preventive take then rather than being affected by a disease and then correspondingly consuming the medicines that are there. So it is going to be a good thing for both the healthcare as well as the allied industries. A byproduct of this is also into the organic foods and drugs, and this will be a way forward as against generally foods that were consumed before the pandemic came through. Lot of people are against junk foods. I mean, very recently we have even seen Ronaldo from the football field kind of recommending that one should actually be drinking water instead of coke. And similarly, people are quite I mean, what you can call as quite now reluctant to get into the chemical medicines. So that shift is certainly something that is going to affect. In fact, the product shelves of many of the major FMCG bellwethers, be it Dabur, Marico, has a lot of Ayurvedic products on their shelf. Even a MNC like Unilever has come through with Ayurvedic products on their shelf, and certainly that is something of a dramatic shift, if you can call it, that has happened because of the pandemic. And therefore, in a way, healthcare and allied industry, and if we kind of spell healthcare the other way, it could actually be the heal care and the allied industry that is certainly kind of coming through. Hospitals, as you know, were absolutely full when we were at the peak of the pandemic, and certainly whether it's hospitals, whether it is healthcare as a standalone industry, these things are going to do well. There are certain byproducts like insurance sector also coming into picture. A lot of people have started taking health insurance who were before the pandemic came talking that what is the need of spending, let's say 15, 20, 25,000 rupees a year so that you buy a health insurance when suppose you are going to get ill only once in 5 years, 10 years. But now people have become very conscious about it, and we are kind of seeing the things through to a greater extent. So we next move on to the next theme, which is ESG, which stands for environmental, social, and governance. And it represents the three key factors to look at the sustainability and ethical impact of any investment in a business or a company. Once again, when people have become conscious about health, they are also looking at the environment at a global state, at a bigger picture. Similarly, social balance is something that people are looking for, and same is the case with governance. So we must have seen that whenever the corporate governance is a problem, the companies are certainly kind of punished very heavily. So what does the ESG theme actually rightly do? There is a ESG score that is assigned to each company based on the three parameters which I have mentioned, that is environment, social, and governance. And in that scenario, it is given a tilting factor in the weightage that is assigned to a particular company. And while in most cases we follow the market capitalization as a base of creating certain indices, or maybe testing how good or bad is a company, similarly, in that sense, ESG gives more weightage to companies which have a higher ranking in terms of these three parameters. So, putting it in a reverse fashion, companies which are engaged in tobacco or alcohol, or which are into gambling operations, which could be having byproducts as controversial weapons or weapons. You may call it bullets. It could be in terms of rifles and all those things. They are not in a way put into the ESG category. So generally, the least conflicting sectors that could probably appear is the IT sector. Second is banking and finance. And to some extent, we also see the same thing happening in case of consumer goods, predominantly the white goods space. I won't label FMCG under this, but predominantly the consumer goods with white goods is something that people can look for in the ESG pack. Just to give a very recent example, just a few days back, we heard that Reliance has plans to be carbon zero by 2035. And in this regards, the focus has already started shifting to retail and or telecom a big way. We are seeing it through Reliance Jio or Reliance Retail or Reliance Market that is coming through. So important point to note here, when a bellwether company like Reliance is taking due cognizance about the ESG, it is certainly a theme to do well. People are now more conscious about the bad effects of excessive carbon usage, and that would certainly be something to watch out for the next coming few years, as well as probably next few decades to begin with. Direct throughput, and we come to the theme 3, which is basically the electric vehicles. Now, like I mentioned in my earlier conversation, carbon usage has certainly seen a lot of drop that we could probably see in terms of the fall in crude oil prices as well. And accordingly, the focus within the auto industry is also shifting to electric vehicles from the conventional internal combustion or IC engines as we call it. This will in a way restrict the use of conventional fuels and or keep it restricted to certain places. Generally, the electricity producing plants is where majority of the fuel is in a way combusted and then electricity is produced, and that in a way fuels the electric vehicles. So therefore, it in a way largely reduces the pollution that is happening at multiple places to a single place, and that is also what electric vehicles would kind of bring about. This shift is much clear from the sales figures of auto, especially in advanced countries like US and Europe, where 60% vehicles sold are EVs. So this again was one of the data points that came across. And China, which is also the second largest economy of the world too, is moving very fast towards electric vehicles. And very recently, I think a week or 10 days back, we have also seen the Indian transport minister coming through with various packages, rather subsidies for electric vehicles, so that there is a good amount of push to these segments. So EVs in a way will bring about a structural change in the operations. Petrol pumps as we see today could be replaced by battery charging facilities. Then similarly the auto maintenance facilities may get thrown out, as there are much lesser moving parts in electric vehicles as compared to the conventional vehicles. And so that would certainly kind of change the background altogether. On the flip side, battery maintenance would be the heart of services within the industry, and we could really be seeing a lot of R&D happening within this segment, the battery segment, because that is in a way the heart of the electric vehicles, and that certainly seems to be something to watch out for.
Thank you so much. Now, next few decades will prove to be a sunrise for these themes. Have a look. Oh, thank you, Pushkaraj. I hope this was an informative podcast for you all. I am definitely going to check this out. The topic for the next week talk on Tuesday will be Rule of 114. Hope to see you then. Don't forget to press the bell icon and subscribe on YouTube. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, for where we will try and make investing simple for you all. Thank you.